Welcome back, folks. It is Jafer, and today we're going to take a look at the first big release of 2021, and that's going to be Pwnage's own ultra custom wireless symmetrical. Now, there's a lot of wireless mice out there on the market, and it can be kind of daunting when you're doing your own research, but let's take a look and see why Pwnage feels that this should be the one on your desk. Coming in at $79.99, the Symmetrical by Pwnage is available in a black or white variant, and you can get it in a solid form factor, which is this one right here. The one that's going to have more honeycomb cutouts is going to be looking like this. This is my Ergo, and shout out to Nacho Customs for the awesome paint job. But when you do purchase it, you're either going to get it in a cutout form where the sides are cut out, or you're going to get it solid similar to this. Either way though, you're going to get one cutout shell as well as one solid shell. And that can vary the weight as it goes from 68 grams to 86 grams, depending on the combo that you work with. And it also comes in 11 different customizable colors, which is really awesome to see, and that's what makes it the ultra custom. Now, what makes the Symmetrical such a sought-after mouse is that it does mimic that S2 shape, but with some toolless modules, which is really nice. So just like the Ergo that came out last year, you simply just remove the shell and you can replace it with your honeycomb or your solid. And if you want to replace the buttons, you simply just pull it right off. Everything is connected with teeth or magnets. So there's little tiny screws on each end here that simply just rest right inside the magnets, and it makes for awesome customizable abilities. But I will say it is a little bit less than the Ergo, as it is missing that DPI button, and that's really kind of unfortunate because I do think that when you want to really make this your own, having that small little accent that you're able to change and customize just kind of adds more personality to the mouse, unlike your standard just DPI button. With the Symmetrical being a wireless mouse, you're going to have some way to charge it, and it's going to come with a USB-C connection, which is not proprietary, so it's really nice that you can use any sort of USB connection that fits right inside there. It is going to come with a super flexible charging cable. It's going to run along the same feel of, say, the Razer SpeedFlex, so there's a little bit of noticeable stiffness, but nothing that's going to be noticeable, say if you needed to simply just plug this in for a quick charge, as it only takes an hour for a full charge. Thank you, USB-C technology. And if you don't want to plug in the wireless dongle in the back or the top of your PC, simply use this adapter and just lay it in front of your mouse pad, similar to how you would use the Razer or the Logitech or SteelSeries adapter. For mouse 1 and 2, Pwnage decided to go with the Omron 50mm switches. That does cause a little bit of concern for me because they are known to be notorious double-clicking switches later on down the road. So I do feel that the longevity of this mouse in its current state might result in some issues down the line, but only time will tell with that. I did not notice any concerns during my testing. You would think that a modular mouse wouldn't have a good tolerance on any button play since everything's so easily removable, but no. On here, this is actually excellent. Very little wiggling within mouse 1 and 2. There's really next to nothing as far as any post travel, nothing excessive on my copy, and the side buttons themselves feel fantastic. You can definitely feel the switches the moment you apply pressure to those side buttons. The scroll wheel itself is tactile, but it is also smooth, so it's nothing that's going to be rough, say like a Zowie or MPO1. Let's go ahead and give you a sound test. Sensor performance, I didn't have any issues at all, just like I didn't have any issues with the HyperX Haze that also uses the PixArt 3335 sensor. This is basically a low-powered version of the 3360, which from my understanding has now been discontinued going into the 3370. But that's for another story. And so with the sensor though, I didn't notice any stuttering, any weird lag. The lift off distance is normal that I can measure between your 1 to 2 millimeters. Nothing excessive and nothing too strict. It is good. And when I was using a cloth-based surface, And I was also using a hard or hybrid surface. There were no concerns at all with it reading the surface. So, I mean, honestly, this is 2021. We're not going to run into sensor problems that much anymore. And while we're on the subject of the sensor, the software is not required to use the mouse, although I do encourage it, as it does allow you to adjust your DPI settings as well as your RGB. But the important thing is that out of the box, this mouse is set at 500 hertz pulling rate. Bumped it up to 1000 because that's what we have available. The overall dimensions on this is going to be 120 millimeters long. We're looking at 60 millimeters at the grip and then 38 millimeters high, which is really identical to your S2. And that's what brings me to what I love about this is that Pwnage is bringing something to the market that Zowie just seems to refuse to do, and that is giving us a wireless S2, on top of also giving us added customizable features. With the S2, it is such a popular shape for claw and even fingertip with that very pronounced hump at the back that the symmetrical just kind of feels right at home after using the S2 for so long. But with even the added features of better side buttons, I absolutely love these side buttons as they are separated. So when I am gaming, it's something that I do prefer, having that noticeable gap so I know exactly where my thumb is at all times. And also, it does have some RGB, and I know people will laugh at RGB, but it's just something that is fun within the hobby, and that's available on the scroll wheel as well as on the back here. Now, with the scroll wheel, it's going to be a battery indicator as well as a DPI indicator. The surface on the symmetrical is going to be identical to the Ergo one if you have experience with that. It does have that matte finish. It does not store fingerprints, at least they're not really visible. You can see a little bit of shine if you do end up having some greasy hands, but nothing that's going to be super impactful when you are gripping it, whether it be claw or fingertip. And I have a 19 by 10 hand size, so given the surface with its matte finish and the shape of that common S2, this is a really good mouse to hold on to. Now, as far as the structure, this is something that you're always going to be slightly concerned with when it comes to any modular based mouse. But I am glad to say that just like the Ergo, this is built super solid. There is absolutely no creaking. On my copy with my Ergo, I was not able to flex the back shell off like some folks could with the side buttons, and I can't do that either with my symmetrical. This guy is definitely built like a tank, and there's really very minimal to almost non-existent side flexing with mouse 1 and 2, which is great to see. So oddly enough, I did not get the button spacers. That's listed as something that you do get with purchase, and that's something that you do get with your Ergo mouse that I did. And essentially they just go on the underside here, and it does offer a little bit different of a click experience. And so I can't really give you any input on that as I'm waiting for those to ship out. But I will say that something that didn't come normally with a mouse is going to be additional mouse feet in different sizes. So what I believe we have here is going to be direct replacements for the ones that are already on the mouse, and this is 100% PTFE, which is really great to see. Nothing that's like what other companies consider virgin or heat treated. We all know that can tend to be marketing terms to really get you to sell you on the feature, but these glide exceptionally well. If you remember what the Ergo folks were having issues where this would break when they were going to replace the battery, with the symmetrical, it looks like they repositioned it so it's almost like a please don't touch motion. So you'd have to actually open up the mouse to change out the battery this time. So we've come to the end of the video, and do I recommend the Pwnage? Of course I do. I think that if you're someone that does use the S2, or you're even using the XM1 or the Burst Pro, you owe it to yourself to give the new symmetrical a try, as it does seem to be a perfect pairing for those that are of a claw grip style. And at $79.99 is definitely in the upper echelon of your mid tier, because I think that some of the specs aren't really, necessarily competing with the end game of your premium mice, but it definitely is still a great product to own on your desk. Until next time, I'm Jafer. I appreciate you watching the video. If you like the content, please throw a like, and of course, a subscription is always grateful. Until next time, you guys stay safe.